Good morning. Let us continue our topic. In yesterday, we discussed about mass defect and binding energy. Now it's a continuation. Average binding energy. Average binding energy. Average binding energy, or we can call it as binding fraction. Binding fraction. So, average binding energy or binding fraction. What is mean by that? So, average binding energy means the binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon is called average binding energy. So, binding energy is represented by B and A. So, this is called binding fraction. This is called binding fraction. Binding fraction, which gives the information about the stability of the nucleus. Which gives the information about the stability of the nucleus. Binding fraction gives the information about the stability of the nucleus. Which gives the information about the stability of the nucleus. Stability of nucleus. Binding energy per nucleon is a high. Stability also is a high. Stability is also high. If it is low, the stability also low. If it is low, the stability also low. The stability also low. This is about the binding energy or binding fraction. Average binding energy or binding fraction. The ratio of binding energy to its nucleon is called binding fraction, which gives information about the stability of the nucleus. With the more the binding energy per nucleon, more the stability. More the stability. Next, very important topic, binding energy curve. Our next topic is binding energy curve. Binding energy curve. Binding energy curve. Binding energy curve, which gives the information regarding the stability of the nucleus. Let us see. So let it be a x-axis and this is a y-axis. In y-axis we are taking binding energy per nucleon on y-axis, and x-axis we are taking a mass number. Mass number. We are plotting a graph between the mass number on x-axis and the binding energy per nucleon on y-axis. Binding energy per nucleon on y-axis. Okay. Let us now, the graph is like this. The graph is, which is started from origin. The graph is like this. These are all called kinks. Kinks. The graph is maximum, here it is, and gradually decreases and gradually decreases. The graph is a maximum between here the mass number, whose mass number is 35 to 180, whose mass number is a license between 35 to 30 or 30 to 170. You can write it as 30 to 170. 30 to 170. Here it is a maximum. Here the corresponding mass number is a 56, which is iron. Element is iron, and the value is 8.75 MeV. The value is 8.75 MeV. Here it is the maximum binding energy for iron. The graph shows here it is a maximum. The corresponding mass number is a 56. 56 means the element is iron. The element is iron. And whose value, binding energy per nucleon value is 8.75. First, maximum binding energy. Maximum binding energy is for iron, and its value is 8.75 MeV. 8.75 MeV. And next, binding energy curve is a maximum between whose mass number lies in between 30 to 170. Whose mass number lies in between 30 to 170. The nuclei with the mass number lies in between 30 to 170 are more stable compared to the lesser mass numbers and higher mass numbers. So the mass number, whose mass number less than 30, whose mass number less than 30, those are unstable. Those are unstable. They can get the stability by the process of nuclear fusion. Nuclear fission. They can get the stability by the process of nuclear fission. What is the nuclear fission? We will discuss later onwards. So, whose mass number is less than 30, those are unstable. They can get the stability by the process of nuclear fission, and the mass number which is greater than 170 are also unstable. They get the stability by the process of nuclear fusion. Here it is a nuclear fusion, here it is a nuclear fission. Nuclear fission. Fission means the heavy nucleus is split into two or more lighter nuclei. Fusion means lighter nuclei fuse up into to form a heavy nucleus. That's the difference. So next, these are all called kinks. Kinks, principal minima. This lower side represents the principal minima, upper side represents principal maxima. At principal minima, there exists a nuclei with odd number of protons and neutrons. Odd number of protons and neutrons. Odd number of protons and neutrons. Let it be 3 hydrogen, helium, lithium, 3 Li7. Next 5 hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, 5 boron, 10, like this. This type of elements are exist in the principal minima. Here it is minima means is the lower part. Maxima means it is maxima. At principal maxima, or maxima, I will discuss about minima. It is a principal maxima. There exists a even number of protons and neutrons. A nuclei with even number of protons and neutrons. Even number of protons and neutrons. There exists a nuclei with a even number of protons and neutrons. Let it be 2He4, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium 4, beryllium 8, like this. This type of elements are like this. Can I explain once again? Look at here. The binding energy curve. What is meant by binding energy curve? A graph is plotted between the mass number on x-axis and the binding energy per nuclei on y-axis, which gives the information about the stability of the nucleus. Here the graph is like this. These are all called kinks, K-I-N-K-S, kinks, and this is a maximum. Curve is a maximum, and here it is maximum. Corresponding mass number is 56. The element is iron. So iron, which is the most stable in the nature. So the graph has a maximum there at mass number 56. So it gradually decreases. Here the binding energy curve is a maximum between the whose mass number lies in between 30 to 170. 30 to 170 mass numbers they are very high stability. Why? Because the binding energy curve is a maximum. So the elements, the nuclei with the mass numbers lies in between 32 and 170. Those are more stable. And the mass number which are the nuclei with the mass number less than 30 or lighter nuclei, they are also unstable. They get the stability by the process of nuclear fusion. Fusion means a lighter nuclei fuse, mix up and to form a stable nucleus. And the mass number, the nuclei with the mass number which are greater than 170, they are also unstable. These are called heavy nuclei. They can get the stability by the process of nuclear fission. A heavy nucleus is split into two or more lighter nuclei, and there is a stable nucleus. They produce a stable nucleus. This process is to be nuclear fission. And here it is that this is called principal minima, and upper portions are called principal maxima. At principal minima, there exists a nuclei with the odd number of protons and neutrons. Let it be examples of 3 Li7, 5 boron, etc. At the principal maxima, there exists a even number of protons and neutrons. That is the helium, beryllium, these are all etc. So this is about the binding energy curve, which explains the stability of the nuclei. Whose elements are stable, whose not. Okay. So next we move to next topic. Next, what is the radioactivity? What is the radioactivity? What is the radioactivity? Radioactivity. What is the radioactivity? Suppose let it be a container. We are taking an element which is observing by the observer, which is under experimental observation, After some time, the nuclei decreases gradually, it becomes like this, and after some time it becomes like this, and this is like this. There is no element here. What happens? An element or nuclei gradually decreases. The process of this decreasing is said to be physics, that is called decay. That is called decay, or we can say it as disintegration. Decay or disintegration. Disintegration means the decrement of a substance. Gradually, the substance gradually decreases. The process is called decay. That is called decay or disintegration. What happens here? The element is like this, gradually decreases, and there is no element. So what happens? The invisible rays like alpha, beta and gamma radiations are emitted from that substance. So that what happens? The material or a substance or a nuclei or element gradually decreases. So the spontaneous process, this is called. This spontaneous emission of alpha, beta, gamma from a nuclei is called radioactivity. Let us learn the definition. A nuclei of certain element disintegrate spontaneously by emitting alpha, beta and gamma radiation. A nuclei of certain element disintegrates. A nuclei of certain element disintegrates means decreases. A nuclei of certain element disintegrates spontaneously without any force, by emitting alpha, beta and gamma radiation. This phenomena is known as radioactivity. This phenomena discovered by Becquerel, scientist Becquerel, B-E-Q-U-E-R-R-E-L, Becquerel, the scientist name is Becquerel. So let us once again listen carefully. What is the radioactivity? A nuclei of certain element disintegrate spontaneously by emitting alpha, beta and gamma radiation. This phenomena is known as radioactivity. So now let us discuss law of radioactive decay. What is a law of radioactive decay? Law of radioactive decay. Law of radioactive decay. Let us write the statement for this statement. Suppose if you take any substance which are having initially n number of nuclei, n naught number of nuclei or n number of nuclei, gradually this number decreases. That is called decay. We can say it as dN by dt. dN by dt means the rate of decay. The rate of decay means the number of nuclei disintegrating per second. The number of nuclei disintegrating per second is directly proportional to the number of nuclei present at instant. This is the statement for the law of radioactive decay. The rate of decay means the number of nuclei disintegrating per second. The number of nuclei disintegrating per second is directly proportional to the number of nuclei present at any instant. Is called law of radioactive decay. The rate of decay. The rate of decay. Rate of decay means the number of radioactive nuclei. The number of radioactive nuclei. Active nuclei disintegrating per second. Disintegrating per second is directly proportional to the number of nuclei present at instant. Now let us discuss the derivation part of this radioactivity. So dN by dt is directly proportional to n. If you want to remove this proportionality constant, dN by dt is equals to lambda into, and I keep negative sign here. The negative sign indicates decay, and lambda is called decay constant. So dN by n is equals to minus lambda into t. Integrating on both sides. dN by n is equals to minus lambda into n. Integrating on both sides. Let it be dN by n is equals to integral of minus lambda into t. Lambda into dt. dN by means we have log n is equals to minus lambda integral t d means t plus c. Let it be first equation. To find the value of c, put t is equals to 0. Then number of nuclei n is equals to, let it be n naught, initial number of nuclei. So log, substitute the value, and instead of n we are taking n naught minus lambda t, we are placing 0 plus c. That implies we are having the c value as log n naught. Substitute this value in the first equation. In first equation we get log n is equals to minus lambda t plus c. We are writing the value of c here, log n naught. So log n minus log n naught is equals to lambda t. Log a minus log b, that is equals to log a by b. Log n by n naught is equals to minus lambda t. That implies n by n naught is equals to e power minus lambda t. That implies, look at here, n is equals to n naught into e power minus lambda t. This is our final answer. N is equals to n naught into minus e power minus lambda t. This is called exponential decay. In our expansion, we have the negative sign that represents the exponential decay. Okay students, that's enough for today. Thank you very much.